Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. On this episode, you'll meet Terry Ma, an altruistic living kidney donor who in his 60s donated a kidney anonymously to a kidney patient in need of a transplant. Terry exemplifies the ultimate kidney hero, and we're honored to welcome him to Kidney Plugged In. Terry lives in North Saanich on Vancouver Island, and he joined us to share his experience as a living kidney donor, to talk about how he managed the small bump or two along this journey. And when we asked Terry what motivated him to take action and do this selfless act, he simply answered, why not? Terry's story is an inspiring one that you don't want to miss. So please stay with us and we'll introduce you to Terry next, right here on Kidney Plugged In. Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for joining us today on Kidney Plugged In.
Thanks for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you and an honor, I'm going to say, Terry, because you're here joining us to talk about a story because you are an altruistic, or what we call a non-directed kidney donor. So Terry, we want to know everything. Can you take us back to the beginning and, talk about even your first thought? When did it occur to you that, hey, I might want to be a living kidney donor?
So this started years ago, and I was an avid blood donor, and I was up to 50 some odd donations, and I received a letter from Blood Services that said, sorry, you can't donate anymore because 2 patients had adverse reaction. And so it was really a bit of a letdown, where you were helping support other people, supporting the community, supporting society. And so I started to look for other opportunities to help. And one of the things that came up, because I remember my uncle having kidney disease, and he went to dialysis for years, and finally his son donated a kidney. And so that started to tweak my curiosity into looking. So I started to do research into being a living kidney donor.
So that was the motivation.
It was the motivation. And I don't know, Barb, if it's the aha moment, because you do a lot of research and, and there's a lot of great things out there, right? So I looked at kidney because obviously being a living kidney donor, and the fact is you can live with just one kidney, as long as you're healthy and so forth. So I just started the process and did the paperwork and started from there.
Where was the beginning for you? Like, you made that decision.
Yeah.
What was your first step? What was your next step?
So before that, it's not a decision you make in isolation. So obviously I discussed this with my wife, and we've been married for 40 some odd years. So obviously, it's important that she feels comfortable with what I'm going through. And I've got 3 kids, so we discussed it, and it was something that, we felt strongly about. And so once I got the blessing, I started, I reached out to VGH and got my name on there and started paperwork and the questionnaire, getting the questionnaire done, and then started the test.
There are many steps along the way. It's a long, very deliberative process. What was that process like for you?
Well, VGH transplant team is fantastic. Really, from the very beginning, they're very easy to answer the questions, answer any questions anytime, sort of thing. And one of the things they stressed was you can opt out at any time, right? At any point in the process, you can say, no, it's not for me, or I don't feel right, or whatever, and you can stop the process. For me, it was really starting that process and just, for me personally, once I started, I had to go through with it. And there were certain points within the medical kind of evaluation where, there were a couple iffy parts where I thought, oh my God, I may not be able to donate. And so, with rigor, I just kind of went through and one of them was the blood pressure. My blood pressure was high. They put me on medication. And so just to see if that would help. And finally they said, yep, you're good, and just continue on with the evaluation.
So no real large moments of hesitation along the way. You were determined this was a journey you were going to see through.
It's funny you say that, because for me it was opposite. I needed to see this through. It would have been hard for me to stop and not donate for whatever reason. I think when you're in that position where you have that mindset you want to help someone, and for me it was anonymous, it was a calling sort of, and for me it was really, I needed to see it through. So I was doing everything I could to make sure, I ate healthy, I exercised properly. I did everything I could to make sure that I met the criteria to be a living donor.
So you were taking care of that kidney that you were going to.
Absolutely. Drinking
give us a
lots of
gift.
water and, staying hydrated for sure.
So how many months from the first test that you did until the end of the process?
I think it was about 10 months. There was a bit of a break because one of the things they do is a colonoscopy or fit test, and I had to have a colonoscopy, and therefore it was delayed a bit. But once you're through the test, you're healthy. They make sure that you are ready to go. They're not going to let anything stand in the way of your health, right? Making sure that you're healthy to donate.
So an exhaustive process.
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying. But you also made a really important point, is that about the health of the donors. So through this whole process, the team, the transplant team, is actually looking to make sure that you're going to be healthy, not just to donate the kidney, but moving forward for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that the transplant team is probably going to hate me, but I kept bugging them, saying, do you have news? And you go through an extensive questionnaire, right? You do a bunch of testing here because I'm on the island before I go over and meet with the transplant team. So, psychologist, with the nurse, with the surgeon, nephrologist, to go through to make sure that you're able to do it. And each step of the way, am I still qualified? Am I still qualified? Do I still meet the criteria? So, like I said, it was really a calling for me. It was really, I have to do this. For whatever reason, nothing was going to stop me.
I think you meet with psychologists as well, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
they want to know the reason why you're doing it, and are you,
Right.
Is this something you really want to do?
And again, each one of them really stressed the fact that you can opt out at any time. So that was important.
Yeah. So you were waiting. You kept asking.
Yes.
When
Yes.
did you get a call? How did it happen that you found out that you were
The donor nurse gave
compatible?
me a call in November saying everything passed. The surgeon was, gave the green light, and you can go ahead and donate. And when would you like to? And so, given the fact that I've got B positive blood, I think that the donor list is a shortened list, a smaller list, and so I opted for early January. And sure enough, January came and I donated.
Your blood type, you said
B positive.
B positive,
Yeah.
right? So immediately for any patient, transplant patient waiting for a kidney, their pool is
Right.
minimized. So
Right.
that made it even more important that you were donating, right? How did that make you feel?
I don't look at it that way. It's just, for me, it was like, sure, it's a B positive blood type and of Asian descent, maybe that would help, right? So, the fact is, it was just donating a kidney. It was just helping someone, whoever that is, right? Whatever race or, child or whatever, just wanted to help.
Who did you share the news with first? I imagine your wife.
My wife and family.
You must have been ecstatic when you heard that.
Absolutely. Because it was a long process, and again, there's a couple of times that you don't think you can make it, right? You get these where blood pressure or something maybe a test didn't quite work out, and I went through multiple tests, and I had to repeat some tests too. So, at the end, it was worthwhile.
Leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
I can't believe it's been almost 20 years since we met. My whole life has changed. Whenever I felt alone, you were there for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I couldn't have done it without the Kidney Foundation. And now, I need you more than ever.
So Terry, going back to the day of the surgery,
Right.
you've got to share with our viewers. What was involved on that day, and how did the transplant go?
Yeah, so it was at VGH, and it was early in the morning, and I didn't really sleep the night before. And it wasn't from being nervous, it was the excitement that I'm gonna help someone, right? And so my wife came over with me, and we were there first thing in the morning, got all prepped, and the staff at VGH is fantastic, right? Everyone was so accommodating and made me feel right at home. And again, the surgeon came out and said, you know, you can opt out. And I said, there's no way I'm opting out of this one, right? So they got me on IV and ready to go. And yeah, the surgery lasted, I think it was 3 hours. And it was fine.
Butterflies in your stomach, if not, I'm sure in your wife's stomach.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, there's always a bit of nervousness, right? And anticipation, but yeah, again, it was a calling. I had to do this. So, yeah.
So you went in, 3 hours later, you're in recovery room.
Correct.
You're waking up.
Yeah.
Your first thoughts?
You know, I didn't think that I had never had surgery before. I've never been, you know, so to me it was a weird feeling just coming out of that. So, and it wasn't in pain. Like I didn't, and then next thing I knew, I drifted back off and landed in my room, and yeah. And then next thing I know, my wife's there and my sister. So, yeah.
So in 3 hours, Terry, you saved a life. Did you hear, what was the conversation with your transplant surgeon or your transplant team thereafter? Did they tell you anything?
Because it's anonymous, they really didn't. The only thing they did say when the surgeon came to check on me after is that the recipient that he did, after he had, I think he said he had Tim Hortons for lunch or something before he went in surgery. But 20 minutes after surgery, or after the transplant, the recipient was actually producing urine, which is amazing, right? That's just an amazing fact.
It is amazing how this kind of surgery can go so well. I wanted to find out about your post-recovery.
Yeah, so I was in the hospital for 2 nights. I wanted to leave the next day, but they said no, and it was totally fine. But I'm driven, so for me, I started walking the next day, and I just did laps in the ward, just to keep up and make sure that, you know, hydrated and make sure that I was able to, you know, pass urine. And so once that happened, the surgeon said, you're ready, you want to go out, don't you? I said, I do. And so he let me go.
How long was your recovery process, you know, past that, before you were sort of back into regular life?
So, you know, within about a week, I did something stupid and I lifted, because you know, they say don't do anything heavy, and I lifted something and
it's major surgery.
Yeah.
Right.
So that hurt a bit, but other than that, I went back to work in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and then after I chatted with the surgeon, he can say you can start exercising. I think that was in 4 or 5 weeks or something. And then I started walking, and then I started running within 2 months. And then in October of last year, I did my first half marathon. Yeah, so it was nothing. It was like nothing.
Isn't that amazing that you said a half marathon?
Half marathon, yes.
9 months later?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you would have had to be training all along for that.
Pretty well.
I mean, isn't that amazing? What's the process now?
So after the initial assessment, and I'm finished with the Vancouver team, and now it's just back to being checked annually with my family physician, which is blood pressure and, you know, and urine sample and blood sample and so forth. But that's it. I don't need to go to Vancouver for any of those testing. So it's like back to normal.
You did that marathon, half marathon, with 1 kidney. And your transplant recipient, whoever you donated to, has 3 kidneys.
Yeah, right.
What a lot of people don't realize is they don't remove the kidney, right? They just implant the next kidney.
So one of the reasons why I was so strong in terms of my belief in donating is, you know, I'm in my 60s. I think I'm in relatively good health. And like you're mentioning, you know, why would I wait till I'm deceased to donate a kidney when someone else could use it now? So that was my reason on why I really pushed to be a living kidney donor. You know, people ask, why did I do it? And I kind of reverse it and say, why not? Given the fact that you can live healthy life and you can help someone else out and perhaps change their life forever, right? Well, I think that would change their life forever. But it's such a small deed. It's such a small sacrifice, and people don't realize it. And I didn't realize it until I started looking into being, a living kidney donor.
You look like the poster person for living organ donation because it hasn't interfered
None.
with your life at all on
Not
any
at all.
level.
Not at all. And part of that evaluation, they make sure that you do qualify and you're on top health, because anything that would jeopardize your health, they're not going to go forward with.
One piece of information for people is that if you do donate, if you are someone like yourself who's donated, should something happen down the road, you actually go to the top of the
Right.
transplant list, and they
Right.
do everything,
Right.
for that. But it sounds like you're taking phenomenal care of that kidney.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Did you have any pictures? Did they show you the kidney at all
No,
after
they
it came out?
didn't. No, they did.
This is a personal request.
Hi, I'm Yash, and I'm here to talk to you about living organ donation. Living donation is something that is very personal to me because I myself am a living kidney donor. 6 years ago, I donated a kidney to my dad, who has been living with kidney failure for almost 3 years. And now I can say he gets to keep a piece of me for the rest of his life. I'd like to share with you some of the statistics that explain why living donation is so important. Did you know that 73% of Canadians waiting for an organ transplant are waiting for a kidney? The average wait for a kidney transplant from a deceased donor is 3.5 years. Did you know that in 2022, kidney disease was the 11th leading cause of death in Canada? And did you know you can be the part of the solution? Every year, living people donate one of their kidneys to help someone suffering renal failure who needs a transplant to regain their health. In fact, 29% of adult kidney transplants are made possible by living kidney donors. More than 56% of all adult living kidney donors are not blood relatives of their recipients. Are you considering being a living kidney donor and wish to speak with a mentor who has been through the experience? The Living Donor Mentor Program is available for anyone who is considering being a living kidney donor to a recipient in BC or Yukon. This free peer support program offers to match potential living donors with mentors who've already donated a kidney. And now, you know.
In your case, it really sounds like it's been the best case scenario, really, going through this organ donation process. What has it meant to you?
In one way, I think I help someone, and then some other time I don't even think anything of it because you live a normal, healthy life. So it's not as though you feel like you're missing a kidney or you're not able to do certain things because you're back to normal. So to me, part of this is you make a small sacrifice for that small period of time, and then you go back to living your life as you did before. But you just so happen to help someone just in that little instant. And to me, if more people would just take that opportunity and learn more about being a living kidney donor, it would help a lot more people, or just raising awareness.
It has brought another aspect to your life. You're now a big advocate
I am.
for organ donation registration.
I
Part of the process was, I think you mentioned education,
Yes.
realizing
Yes.
the difference that it can make.
You know, you do see a lot of commercials about cancer and all these others, and I'm not saying that you don't know about kidney, but on Facebook you do see the odd one where someone's desperate and they're now starting to reach out on social media to seek out a living kidney donor.
Very important point. You've become such an advocate
Yeah.
that you've actually become a part of our peer mentorship program. Is that correct?
That's
Here
correct.
at the BC Yukon branch?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that, how you got involved with that.
Yeah, so again, really trying to help out and raise awareness and thinking that there's, some of the experience could benefit other people. I just thought I'd join that group.
Okay, so I'm just calculating here, probably in the last year, last 14 months, you've saved a life, you've run a half marathon, you've started a charity, like what's on the horizon?
I'd really like to supplement the work that the Kidney Foundation does, right? One of them is bringing awareness to Kidney Foundation, the education part, the need for donations, fundraising, all that stuff. Really just to support the important work that the Kidney Foundation does, right? And those requiring kidney transplant, really being a voice for them. I think it's really important. A lot of times, like you're saying, they don't know who to turn to, how to reach out. They probably reached out to friends and family already, and so they're desperate. And so just giving them an opportunity to, raise awareness and get the word out that they need a kidney.
Hey, honey, I lost the list for Jason's birthday thing. Obviously, hamburger, cakes. No, not hamburger cakes. Hamburgers and cake. And buns, sausage.
Ooh, eye candy.
Is it a full moon tonight? People are being weird. And don't forget to make the Facebook event private this time. Okay, bye.
Can you imagine losing most of something without realizing it? Over time, kidney disease can destroy up to 80% of kidney function before you notice any symptoms. Talk to your family doctor to see if you're at risk and need to be screened. It could save your life.
There are people like yourselves out there that may be considering.
Yeah.
I've heard about this living donation. Is there something you might say? What kind of words of wisdom or thoughts that you might share with somebody about maybe taking a second look at this?
I would say just do it. And the reason why I say that is, given the fact that you can opt out at any time, the fact is you can do your homework, your due diligence, but really just start that dialogue, look into it, right? Raise awareness. I think a lot of people will either procrastinate, put it off, and I think once you get going, it's a calling, like it did for me. It was a calling.
Well, Terry couldn't have summed it up better than that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your journey with us. And look forward to following up with you again in the future. But thank you for joining us here on Plugged In.
Thank you.
Living organ donation is an act of altruism that reduces the wait time for patients in need of a life-saving kidney, partial liver, or partial lung. And by agreeing to become a living donor, donors travel to and from a transplant hospital for a variety of tests and surgery, and that may result in a financial loss. The Living Organ Donor Expense Reimbursement Program is a provincial program that reimburses some out-of-pocket expenses and makes it possible to be a living donor even when living far away from the recipient. The program is designed to remove financial barriers and increase the number of potential donors. The Kidney Foundation helps to administer the Living Organ Donor Expense Reimbursement Program in most provinces. Please contact us for more information on how to access this program in your region. Terry, you participated in the South Vancouver Island Kidney Walk in Victoria for the first time last year. How'd you hear about the event?
I saw this on the Kidney Foundation website where they advertise all the different events that's going on. And for me, it was another way to give back. It was an opportunity to help fundraise and to meet other people. And it was a lot of fun. And it doesn't take very much time. It only takes a couple hours of your day, and you get to meet a lot of great people.
And you'll be participating again this year?
I am. And we have a team set up, and I was joined by family and friends, and I encourage everyone that's able to come out and support such a great cause.
And what did you enjoy the most about participating in the Kidney Walk in Victoria?
I think the best part of the day was really to get outside and to exercise and also to meet people and help fundraise. I think it's an amazing cause, and it really brings awareness to, the Kidney Foundation and for the requirements of having living kidney donors and the important work that the Kidney Foundation does. I'm a strong advocate now, vocal one, so every opportunity I get to talk about kidney donation, I do it with open arms. On June the 1st at 11 o'clock down at Clover Point, it's going to be the Victoria Kidney Walk, so I hope to see folks down there. Come out and join the fun.
Let's see, so kidney is these are my grandpa's kidney stones. They're very precious. Kidney is a bone in your back that helps you turn. I don't know, to be honest.
They don't know kidneys are vital, do you? Get the facts at kidney.ca.
The Kidney Car Program is a simple, quick, and hassle-free way to donate your vehicle and help fund programs in support of kidney patients. Donate your car today and receive a $700 minimum tax receipt. Donated vehicles are recycled or resold. Learn more at kidneycard.ca.